Alright, so disadvantage. What doesn't kill adolescents will only make them dumber. Subpoint 1. Oregon's TACT Act falsely shows that marijuana is no big deal. Susan Nielsen, associate editor at the Oregonian, published July 28, 2012, access October 29, 2013. Measure 80, also known as the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, would legalize the growing and sale of marijuana for adults 21 and older. From a distance, the citizen initiative seems to reflect Oregon's healthy libertarian streak and its admirably permissive attitude toward private habits. Up close, the measure is more ambitious. It appears eager to indoctrinate the next generation into thinking of marijuana use as no big deal and cannabis cultivation is downright patriotic. The legalization of marijuana for recreational use will lead to more youth being exposed to the drug. The industry behind the legalization of pot will begin to commercialize the use of marijuana in order to get more users. This is already happening in Colorado, and since Oregon is modeling their pro-pot campaign after Colorado, the same types of advertisements are soon to be seen in Oregon. Subpoint 2. Pot vendors will target kids through loopholes, even though restrictions may be set in place. Amar Tour, former senior associate editor at the Engadget, TheVerge.com, published September 12, 2013, last access November 10, 2013. Pot vendors are prohibited from buying out-of-state ads and promoting drug tourism, though they can advertise on the internet under the same demographic constraints that apply to print, radio, and TV. Billboards and other forms of public advertising are banned under the Marijuana Enforcement Division's regulation, though as the Atlantic Wire notes, weed ads have already begun popping up across the state. Earlier this month, a pro-marijuana billboard appeared outside Denver's Mile High football stadium ahead of the Broncos season opener, and others have appeared on taxi decals. Advertising marijuana on the internet is a sure way to get teens exposed to the propaganda. This will lead to more curiosity and inevitably more use by teens. Subpoint 3. Commercializing marijuana will lead to more addiction. Kevin Sabat, PhD in social policy and the director of Drug Policy Institute at the University of Florida, CNN News, published October 2, 2013, access November 6, 2013. Some have offered legalization as a possible alternative, but we know from experience with currently legal drugs, prescription drugs, which are now the leading cause of accidental death in the U.S., alcohol and tobacco, that legality means commercialization, normalization, and wider access and availability that lead to more use and addiction. Legalization in the United States is likely to accompany a bombardment of promotion, similar to those used 3 classes of legal drugs. These industries will stop at nothing to increase addiction since their bottom line relies on it. Alcohol and tobacco promote their products to a younger audience in order to get them addicted young and keep them spending money on it their entire lives. If marijuana is going to be advertised in the same way, that means the youth is going to be targeted. But marijuana use in adolescence is harmful for development and can lead to more problems throughout life. And onto our link. Subpoint 1. Marijuana use is harmful for adolescents. Katie McCraven, award-winning reporter and broadcast commentator, Ed News Colorado, published February 22, 2013, accessed November 4, 2013. But contrary to perception among students, doctors say marijuana is especially harmful to kids for 2 reasons. First, new research shows adolescence is a crucial time for brain development, and marijuana use can permanently change the teen brain. Second, young people who start using marijuana before age 18 are more likely to use than adults and become addicted to a drug. The legalization of marijuana will send the message that it's okay to smoke, creating the path that leads adolescents to rely on the drug they can familiarize themselves with, thanks to mom and dad smoking at home. Subpoint 2, children exposed to parental smoking are more likely to smoke later on. D.M. Ferguson, professor at the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, NCBI, published March 2007, last access November 11, 2013. Smoking at age 25 is correlated significantly with increasing childhood socioeconomic disadvantage. Further, indicators of children's childhood socioeconomic disadvantage were correlated significantly with the intervening variables of childhood intelligence, school achievement, and conduct problems and exposure to parental and peer smoking, which in turn were correlated significantly with measures of smoking at age 25. Structural equation modeling suggests that the linkages between the latent factor of childhood disadvantage and later smoking were explained largely by a series of pathways involving cognitive educational factors, adolescent behavioral adjustment, and exposure to parental and peer smoking. Leading into our impact. Subpoint 1, marijuana exposure causes lower life satisfaction. Drugabuse.gov, published December 2012, last access November 4, 2013. Research clearly demonstrates that marijuana has the potential to cause problems in daily life or make a person's existing problems worse. In fact, heavy marijuana users generally report lower life satisfaction, poorer mental and physical health, relationship problems, and less academic and career success compared to their peers who came from similar backgrounds. For example, marijuana use is associated with a higher likelihood of dropping out from school. Several studies also associate workers' marijuana smoking with increased absences, tardiness, accidents, workers' compensation claims, and job turnover. Subpoint 2, there is no employment protection for marijuana users. Stephen K. Paulson, associate Press reporter, Huffington Post, published April 25, 2013, last access November 11, 2013. Medical and recreational marijuana may be legal in Colorado, but employees in the state can lawfully fire workers who test positive for the drug, even if it was used off-duty. According to the court ruling Thursday, Colorado Court of Appeals found there is no employment protection for medical marijuana users in the state since the drug remains barred by the federal government. Subpoint 3. There is no safeguard for citizens who are following state laws. Holly L. Hartman, lawyer, Denver, Colorado, BakerLaw.com, published November 11, 2013, access November 11, 2013. The employee who had been diagnosed with sinus cancer and an inoperable brain tumor was terminated even though he had properly registered as a medical marijuana patient under the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. The court held that Michigan law was not intended to modify the state's default at-will employment rule, nor was it meant to form the basis of a claim that wrongful discharge violation policy. The Sixth Circuit's decision closely followed similar holdings by state Supreme Court in California, Washington, Montana, and Oregon, all of which have rejected claims by employees seeking protection under medical marijuana statutes. Basically, it's saying that just because it's legal in the state doesn't mean it's good. I know Senate is the cross-examination. I didn't know that was right.
Could you go ahead and just really briefly summarize your third subpoint about commercialization of children?
It's going to be people are clever. Advertisers are going to target children through clever ads that they're going to claim are not directed at children.
Don't alcohol and consumer companies already do that?
Yeah, and look at the problems we have with that.
With parental use and putting on their children, correct?
Yeah.
So what's to say that's not the parents' fault for doing this? How do you hold the parents accountable?
Because kids are sneaky.
Kids are sneaky, but again, how does it hold the parents accountable? Are you saying this is a poor parenting issue?
That's a separate issue.
You said there's no...
Alcohol and prescription drugs are a separate issue.
But don't you need...
Sorry, marijuana.
Yeah, marijuana, thank you. You said there's no protection for children to access these certain kinds of drugs. Again, with the alcohol situation, don't parents often...
Can you repeat the question about no protection for kids access?
That's all I have. That's all I have.